The royal throne. He sat up in bed, heart racing. It was loud. It was coming from the bathroom. "What the?" he whispered, grabbing his baseball bat from under the bed. Jake was just a normal guy. He lived alone in a small apartment. He worked at a boring tech job and played video games on weekends. He didn't believe in ghosts, aliens, or anything strange. But tonight, everything was about to change. He tiptoed toward the bathroom. The scream came again. It was high-pitched and full of panic. "Help me, you useless human. How dare you leave me here?" Jake froze. That wasn't just a scream. That was someone yelling from inside his bathroom. He slowly opened the door. His jaw dropped. A glowing woman was sitting on his toilet. Not near it. Not beside it. On it. She had silver blue skin that shimmered like moonlight. Her long hair floated in the air like she was underwater. Her eyes glowed purple, and she wore strange gold armor on her chest and arms. Her legs were crossed like she was a queen. Finally, she said with a deep breath, "The royal throne has been found." Jake blinked. What?" She pointed at him. "You. Why did you take so long? Kneel before your queen." "My what?" Jake looked around, wondering if he was dreaming. "Who are you? How did you get in here?" She stood up, looking angry. "I am Zeralax of the House Farlaxis, princess of the Silver Moons, heir to the throne of 7 galaxies, and ruler of the sacred toilet of time." Jake blinked again. "Did you just say toilet?" "Yes." She nodded proudly. "This is no ordinary toilet. This is the lost royal throne of Farlaxis, the seat of all power." Jake dropped his bat. "Lady, that toilet came from Walmart. $50. I bought it last year." Zeralax gasped. "You dare insult the royal throne? How dare you? You should be honored it chose you." "Chose me? Lady, it's a toilet." Suddenly, her eyes flashed. The lights in the bathroom flickered. The water in the toilet glowed blue. "Okay, what the heck?" Jake muttered, backing away. She stepped forward. "You don't understand, Jake. The throne has returned to your world for a reason, and you have been chosen to protect it. How do you know my name?" She pointed to his hand. Jake looked down. A glowing symbol had appeared on his palm. It looked like a tiny crown with wings. "What the? I didn't get a tattoo." "That is the mark of the chosen," Zeralax said. "You are now my royal guardian. You must serve and protect me." "Protect you from what?" Suddenly, a loud boom shook the apartment. The windows rattled. The floor vibrated. Zeralax looked out the window. Her face turned pale. "They found me." "Who found you?" Jake asked, panicking. "The throne hunters. They want the power of the toilet. They will destroy this place to take it. They're coming. For my bathroom." Before she could answer, the toilet started making strange sounds. It bubbled. It buzzed. It glowed brighter. Then it spoke. "Portal activated. Coordinates set. Destination: Galactic Sector 5. Jake screamed. "Why is my toilet talking?" Zeralax grabbed his arm. "We must go. Now." "Go where?" Jake yelled as blue light filled the room. "Through the throne." "I am not flushing myself." Too late. A blast of energy pulled both of them into the toilet. The bathroom exploded with light. Everything went silent. And then, they were gone. The first attack. The ground was soft, but it wasn't his bedroom carpet. The air smelled like burnt metal and flowers. Strange blue leaves floated down from pink trees above him. He sat up slowly. Okay, definitely not New York anymore. Zeralax stood nearby, brushing dust off her armor. She looked annoyed. "You passed out during teleportation. How weak." "Excuse me," Jake said. "I got sucked into my own toilet. What part of that is normal?" Zeralax ignored him and looked around. "We landed in a safe zone. For now." Safe. Where are we? We are in Sector 5, she said, on the moon of Ethrelis, a secret place my people used long ago. But we cannot stay. They are coming. Who is they? Jake asked, still trying to stand up straight. Zaralax looked into the distance. Her voice became quiet. The throne hunters. They track the royal throne across the stars. They want its power, and they want me. Why? Because, she said, I refused to marry their leader. He wanted the throne for himself. I ran. Now, they hunt me. Jake stared. So let me get this straight. I'm not just babysitting a glowing alien lady. I'm protecting a royal toilet from space pirates. Zaralax frowned. It is not just a toilet. It is a symbol, and also a very powerful machine. Only those chosen by the throne can activate it. Jake sighed. Lucky me. Suddenly, a loud buzzing sound filled the air. Zaralax spun around. They found us. The sky turned dark as a small ship flew overhead. It looked like a black insect with long silver wings. Red lights blinked on its sides. It hovered above them, then slowly descended. Hide, Zaralax whispered. Where? Behind that plant. That's not a plant. It's a rock with hair, Jake whispered back. Too late. The ship landed with a sharp hiss. The door opened with a hiss of steam. 3 tall aliens stepped out. They wore black armor and had no mouths, just smooth gray faces with red eyes. Their hands were sharp like blades, and they moved like shadows. Give us the girl, one of them said with a voice that echoed in Jake's mind. Zaralax stood tall. You will not take me. The lead hunter raised his hand. Then the human dies first. Oh, come on, Jake shouted. Why is it always me? The hunter fired a glowing dart at Jake. But before it hit, Zaralax moved faster than lightning. She raised her hand, and a purple shield appeared in front of him. The dart bounced off and hit a tree, which exploded into blue mist. Stay behind me, she told Jake. Gladly. She raised both her arms. Purple energy glowed between her hands. I call the light of Farlaxis. A giant wave of energy blasted from her body, throwing 2 of the hunters back. One of them crashed into the insect ship and broke it in half. But the leader remained standing. Your tricks won't work, princess, he growled. You are weak now, and your throne is gone. Jake stood up, angry. You want the toilet so bad. Go flush yourself. He picked up a big rock and threw it at the hunter's head. The rock bounced off harmlessly. Oh no, Jake whispered. The hunter turned toward him and raised a long blade. But suddenly, the ground rumbled. A blue circle opened under their feet, the same glow as the toilet back home. Not now, Jake shouted. Zaralax grabbed him. Don't fight it. This is our only way out. To where? Home. They were sucked into the light again. This time, they landed somewhere strange. A long silver hallway stretched ahead of them. The walls were smooth, metallic, and glowing with alien symbols. Where are we? Jake asked. Zaralax looked nervous. This is inside the throne. Inside the toilet. It's more than a toilet, Jake, she said. It's a ship. A throne. A weapon. And it's waking up. Just then, a deep voice echoed all around them. Royal Dana confirmed. Human Guardian recognized. Unlocking galactic map. A massive hologram appeared above their heads. Planets, stars, and galaxies spun around them. One planet blinked red. Earth. They're going to Earth next, Zaralax whispered. Jake looked at her. We have to stop them. She looked surprised. You want to help? Of course, Jake said. You dragged me into this. They messed up my bathroom. And no one threatens my planet. Zaralax smiled for the first time. Very well, Guardian. Let's defend your world. Behind them, a door opened with a soft ding. What now? Jake asked. Training begins, said Zeralax. Training. You can't protect a royal throne with only sarcasm and a baseball bat. The first attack. Not the kind you see after bumping your head. Real stars. The sky above him was dark purple, with 2 glowing moons and hundreds of sparkling dots. Strange flying creatures glided between the stars, glowing softly like jellyfish in the sky. He sat up slowly. The grass under him was soft and blue. Nearby trees were silver, and their leaves shimmered like glass. "Where am I?" he muttered. "You're lucky," said a familiar voice. "The throne still works." Jake turned his head and saw Zeralax standing a few steps away. Her silver-blue skin glowed in the moonlight. Her armor was cracked, and her hair was messy, but she stood tall and proud. "You," Jake pointed, "you pulled me into my toilet." "It's not your toilet," she replied. "It's the sacred throne of Arlaxis, and yes, I pulled you in. You would have died otherwise." "I almost died anyway. I got flushed across the galaxy." "Calm down," Zeralax said. "We landed on the moon of Ethrelis. This is a hidden place. Safe, for now." Jake looked around. "Why do the flowers here have teeth?" Zeralax ignored him and checked her wrist device. It was shaped like a bracelet but glowed with shifting symbols. "They followed us," she whispered. "The throne hunters are already in this system." "You keep saying throne hunters like that makes sense," Jake said. "What do they want?" "My plumbing." Zeralax didn't smile. "They want me. And the throne. If they control both, they control the 7 star sectors. And they will destroy every planet that resists." Jake stared. "Wait, you're saying the fate of the galaxy depends on my bathroom?" "Yes." A deep rumble shook the ground. Birds, or something like birds, screamed from the trees and flew away. Zeralax's face darkened. "They're here." Jake squinted toward the sky. A small black dot appeared in the clouds, growing larger every second. "Is that a spaceship?" Zeralax didn't answer. She pulled Jake behind a large glowing rock and crouched down. "Don't move. Don't speak." The ship landed in a clearing nearby. It looked like a black beetle, with metal wings and red lights on its sides. When the doors opened, a cold hiss spread through the air like poison. 3 figures stepped out. They were tall, taller than any human. They wore armor made of dark stone and had no faces, only smooth gray heads with red slits for eyes. The middle one raised a hand. It glowed with dark energy. "Royal signal detected," it said. Its voice was deep and mechanical, like a broken machine trying to whisper. "We know you're here, princess," it called out. "Come quietly, and the human lives." Jake's heart raced. He turned to Zeralax. "You told them about me." "You activated the throne," she said softly. "You have the guardian mark. They can smell that." "What?" "I didn't activate anything. I just flushed." Zeralax grabbed his arm. "Listen to me. We must separate. They want me more than you. I'll distract them." "No." Zeralax blinked. "What?" "I said no," Jake repeated. "I'm not a hero. I'm just a guy with a normal life and a normal, okay, weird, toilet. But you dragged me into this, and I'm not letting them hurt you." Zeralax looked surprised. No one had ever spoken to her like that. "Then we fight," she said. "Wait, what?" "That wasn't my plan." But she was already on her feet. A purple shield flashed around her, and she stepped into the clearing. "Come get me," she shouted. The hunters moved fast. One threw a spike toward her chest. She spun in the air, dodging it easily. The second hunter raised a dark weapon. Jake didn't know what it was, but it hummed like it wanted to explode. Before it could fire, Zeralax raised both hands and slammed them together. A shockwave of purple light blasted from her body. Boom! The hunters flew backward. Trees cracked and bent. The ship's windshield shattered. Jake stood in the open now, speechless. "How did you do that?" Zeralax didn't answer. Her hands were shaking. I haven't used that much power since I left my planet. The ground suddenly cracked beneath Jake's feet. He looked down. A blue circle appeared under him, just like in his bathroom. Zeralax. Not again, she whispered. The throne is calling us back. I thought you said this place was safe. I was wrong. The circle glowed brighter. It wrapped around them and sucked them down in a spiral of light. The hunters tried to follow, but the portal closed just in time. Silence returned to the moon of Etherelis. Jake and Zeralax tumbled onto a cold metal floor. The walls around them were smooth, silver, and alive with pulsing lights. Symbols floated in the air, spinning slowly. Where are we now? Jake asked. Zeralax stood slowly, looking around in awe. This is inside the throne. What? The real throne, she said. This place was built long ago. Only those with the mark can enter. This is the heart of the throne's power. A gentle voice echoed all around them. Guardian recognized. Royal blood confirmed. Unlocking throne systems. A giant hologram rose from the floor. Hundreds of planets spun above their heads. One of them blinked red. Earth. Zeralax pointed. They're heading to your world. Jake stared at the glowing Earth. His home. His city. Then we stopped them. Zeralax turned to him. Are you sure, human? Jake nodded. I'm no warrior. I don't even have a job on Monday anymore. But no one invades my bathroom and threatens my planet. Not on my watch. Zeralax smiled. Then let the training begin. Welcome to the galactic war. The throne was alive. Jake could feel it. He stood inside a silver room with no corners. The walls breathed gently, pulsing with soft blue lights. Above him, alien symbols floated in the air like glowing leaves. The air smelled clean, like after rain, but strange too, like burning stars. Zeralax was silent. She stared at the giant hologram of the galaxy spinning above them. Her planet, Varlaxis, blinked yellow. Earth blinked red. Danger. You really weren't joking, Jake said. This is a spaceship. Zeralax nodded slowly. No, this is more than a ship. This is the royal throne's core. It connects to every ancient world ruled by my bloodline. It watches. It remembers. So why was it in my bathroom? She turned to face him. It was hidden there. Many years ago, when the last guardian failed, the throne entered hibernation. It flew across space, cloaked in time, looking for a new protector. And it picked me. Why? I'm just a guy. No, she said softly. You are human. And that matters. She stepped closer. Humans are rare. You don't know it yet, but your species, your spirit, is stronger than most in the galaxy. Stubborn, kind, dangerous in the right ways. The throne senses potential, and it chose you. Jake scratched his head. Doesn't feel like a gift. Feels like a mistake. Zeralax smiled for a moment. Every chosen one says that at first. Suddenly, the throne spoke again. Its voice was calm, deep, like a wise old teacher. Danger level. High. Throne hunters preparing orbital strike on target. Earth. Jake's heart sank. They're going to attack my planet. Yes, Zeralax replied. They want to scare the galaxy. Show everyone they control the throne's fate. If they destroy Earth, others will surrender. Jake balled his fists. Then we stop them. Right now. Zeralax gave him a curious look. You truly mean to fight, even after everything? Yes, he said firmly. You saved me. Now I save others. Besides, I want my toilet back. Zeralax laughed, a real loud laugh that echoed through the room. Then training begins. A section of the floor opened up, and a small cube floated toward Jake. It hovered in front of him, blinking. Oh, what is that? Touch it, Zeralax said. You sure it won't explode? 80% sure. Jake touched it. His vision flashed white. When he opened his eyes again, he was somewhere else. A simulation chamber. He stood in an endless room filled with floating weapons, armor, glowing targets, and alien drones. It looked like a video game, but very, very real. Zeralax's voice echoed in his head. This is the training core. Here, you will learn fast, or you will fail fast. A metal staff floated into his hand. It was lightweight but strong. Suddenly, a flying drone shot toward him with a beam of red light. Whoa! He ducked, rolled, and somehow spun the staff like a pro. How did I do that? He shouted. The throne helps, Zeralax replied. It downloads knowledge into your muscles, but it can't give you courage. That must come from you. More drones attacked. Jake fought. He swung, dodged, blocked. With each move, he felt faster, sharper, like the throne was waking up something inside him. After what felt like hours, the room faded. He was back in the throne chamber, panting, sweaty, and holding the staff. Zeralax stood across from him, arms crossed. Not bad for a beginner. Thanks, Jake said, though I still miss my microwave. Zeralax walked to the galactic map. She pointed to a blinking star near Earth. This is where their fleet gathers. If we can destroy their signal ship, the others will fall into chaos. So, it's like blowing up the Wi-Fi router. Yes, exactly. Finally, something I understand. Suddenly, a light blinked on Jake's hand again. The crown-shaped mark on his palm glowed brighter than ever. Is this normal? Zeralax's face changed. No, this means the throne is evolving. Evolving. The throne's voice returned. Secondary power unlocked. Dimensional anchor. Before Jake could ask, a beam of light shot out from the wall and hit him in the chest. He gasped, but didn't fall. Instead, his vision blurred, and new information rushed into his brain. He could now sense directions across space. He could see energy inside things. He could feel life on Earth. I know where the signal ship is. Zeralax stared. You're sensing with the throne faster than any guardian ever has. What can I say? Jake grinned. Maybe I'm special. Just then, an alarm screamed across the throne. Incoming message. Throne Hunter Commander requesting communication. A hologram appeared in front of them. A tall alien with red eyes, metal skin, and a crown made of bones appeared. Human, the commander said. Give us the princess. Give us the throne, or your world burns. Jake stepped forward. Try it. I just upgraded. The alien narrowed his eyes. Then your death will be slow. The hologram vanished. Silence fell. Then Jake looked at Zeralax. I guess we go to war now. She nodded. And we don't fight alone. Behind her, dozens of lights blinked on the throne's map. Other planets. Other allies. Answering the call. The galactic war had begun. Throne room showdown. The throne was quiet. Too quiet. Jake stood beside Zeralax in the control chamber, staring at the spinning galaxy map. Their target, a red signal ship, glowed brighter every second. It hovered just outside Earth's orbit, sending dark energy pulses to the Throne Hunter's fleet. If we destroy that ship, Zeralax said, the entire fleet will lose connection. They'll be blind, uncoordinated. And Earth, Jake asked, will be safe. For now. Great, Jake said. So, what's the plan? We just knock on the door and ask nicely. Zeralax gave a sly smile. Actually, yes. Jake raised an eyebrow. Wait, really? She walked over to the control platform. Her fingers danced across the symbols. We're going to their throne room. But not as enemies. The room shimmered around them. The walls changed shape. Floors slid open and revealed compartments full of clothes, tools, and glowing accessories. What is all this? Royal disguises, she said. We're going undercover. You mean I have to dress like one of them? No, you're going as my husband. Jake choked on air. Husband. Zarelax kept a straight face. They only allow royal guests into the throne hall. Married partners are included. It's the fastest way in. But we just met. We're not even friends yet. Zarelax shrugged. You want to save your planet. Jake groaned. Fine, but you're buying me dinner after this. Moments later, they stepped out of the throne wearing full royal attire. Zarelax wore a long flowing robe made of liquid silver. Her head was crowned with a glowing tiara that pulsed gently. Jake wore dark blue armor with gold lines and a cape that was clearly too long. This cape is going to kill me, he muttered. Walk with confidence, Zarelax said. They smell fear. Great. Now I smell fear too. The throne activated its portal. Destination set. Throne Hunter Citadel. A bright beam wrapped around them, and they vanished. They reappeared in a massive golden hall. The floor was polished stone, and the ceiling looked like a sky full of dying stars. Giant statues lined the walls. Monsters, kings, queens, warriors. Every face looked angry. Hundreds of aliens stood in the chamber, all dressed in black armor. Every eye turned toward Jake and Zarelax. A silence fell. Then a voice boomed from the back of the hall. Princess Zarelax of Varlaxis. The voice said, You return at last. Jake turned to see a massive alien sitting on a tall throne made of dark bone and metal. He was tall, wider than a car, with glowing red veins and eyes like burning suns. This was Commander Drogak. Zarelax stepped forward and bowed slightly. I come in peace. And who is this creature beside you? My bonded one, Zarelax said. Jake smiled awkwardly. Hey, big fan of your scary eyes. Drogak laughed. It was a low, horrible sound. You married a human. Desperate times, indeed. My choices are not your concern, Zarelax said calmly. We came to talk. One last time. Talk. Drogak stood. We passed talking long ago, Zarelax. You ran from your duties. You stole the throne. And now you bring a clown to bargain for your life. Jake whispered, Hey, he called me a clown. You are wearing glitter armor, Zarelax whispered back. You picked it. Drogak raised a hand. The guards drew their weapons. You have until this star cycle ends, he said, to surrender, or Earth becomes my playground. If you touch Earth, Jake said, stepping forward, you'll regret it. Everyone stared, even Zarelax. Oh no, she whispered. I've had enough, Jake continued. You want power? Fine. But the real throne doesn't answer to bullies. And guess what? I am the chosen guardian. Jake raised his hand. The glowing mark on his palm burned bright blue. Drogak's eyes widened. He's activated it, one guard whispered. It's real. The throne has returned. A crack spread across the floor. The walls began to shake. Lights flickered. The throne had heard its guardian. Zarelax took Jake's hand. We must go. Now. But we just got here. We've seen enough. She tapped her wrist device. A small flash opened a hidden door behind them. They ran. Drogak roared. Stop them. Guards chased them down the corridor, firing energy blasts. Jake ducked and dodged, holding Zarelax's hand tightly. This is the worst date ever. Keep running. They jumped through the door just as it sealed behind them. Inside the small chamber, Jake collapsed to the floor, panting. Well, he said, I think we made an impression. You woke the throne, Zarelax said, looking amazed. No one's done that in 100 years. I didn't mean to, Jake said. I was just mad. That is the throne's energy. It responds to truth. And you were honest. She looked at him, really looked at him. You are more than just a guardian, Jake. He met her eyes. And you're more than just a runaway princess." They sat there in silence, breathing. For a moment, it felt like the galaxy wasn't on fire. But then the ship's walls trembled again. The war had truly begun. Human power unleashed. The chamber was shaking. Dust fell from the ceiling. Sparks flickered in the corners. Red warning lights flashed across the walls. Jake stood, breathing hard. "I think we made them mad." Zeralax checked her wrist device. "The throne hunters have locked the exits. We're trapped in the lower levels of their warship." Jake looked around. "So, what now?" Zeralax didn't answer. She was staring at his hand. The glowing crown mark had changed. It was no longer just a symbol. It was moving, pulsing like a heartbeat. "Your bond with the throne is growing," she said, "faster than anyone I've seen." "Is that good?" "Depends," she said. "Can you control it?" Before he could reply, a blast hit the wall behind them. Boom! Metal shattered. Fire burst through. 3 throne hunter guards stepped in, their eyes glowing red. "Give us the human," one said. "You can try," Jake muttered. He stepped forward, holding nothing but a metal pipe he had picked up on the floor. The lead hunter aimed his weapon. "Your bones will decorate our walls." "Then get ready for a renovation," Jake snapped. The hunter fired. Instinct took over. Jake raised his hand. A wall of blue light burst from his palm, catching the blast and throwing it backward. Boom! The explosion knocked the hunters back against the corridor wall. Zeralax's eyes widened. "You just deflected plasma, with no armor, and no training." Jake looked at his hand. It was still glowing. "What's happening to me?" "The throne is unlocking your potential," she said. "You're not just a guardian anymore. You're evolving." More guards came running. Jake didn't hesitate. This time, he charged. He moved faster than he thought possible. He ducked under a sword swipe, spun, and punched a guard in the chest, sending him flying across the hall. The next one aimed a spear. Jake grabbed it midair, snapped it in two, and used the pieces like sticks. Crack, crack. Both guards dropped. Jake turned, panting, eyes glowing faint blue. "Okay," he said, "this is kind of awesome." Zeralax ran to him. "Your energy is rising too fast. You must slow down or it'll burn you out." "We don't have time," Jake said. "We have to destroy the signal ship. Now." Zeralax hesitated. Then she nodded. "Follow me." They raced through narrow tunnels. The Throne Hunter warship was massive, a floating city made of shadow and steel. Red lights lit the halls. Alarms screamed in every direction. As they ran, Jake noticed something strange. His senses had changed. He could feel the ship's structure, the flow of energy in the walls, even the thoughts of the creatures inside. Rage, hunger, fear. He wasn't just stronger. He was becoming something else. They reached a tall, dark door. Zeralax placed her hand on the panel. It didn't open. "It's locked," she whispered. "Only High Command can." Jake stepped forward. "Let me try." He placed his glowing hand on the door. A spark burst out, and the door opened instantly. Zeralax stared at him. "You overrode Throne Hunter tech with human DNA. Impossible." "I'm getting used to breaking rules," Jake said. They entered the main chamber. In the center stood a massive black crystal, pulsing with dark energy. Cables connected it to the ship's systems. It floated above a glowing pit of plasma. "That's the signal core," Zeralax said. "If we destroy it, their entire fleet loses contact." "Great," Jake said. "So we just..." Before he could finish, the floor shook violently. A loud clang echoed. A giant figure dropped from the ceiling. It was Commander Drogak. But he looked different now, twice as big, his body covered in living armor, his hands like claws, his face half machine. "You humans," Drogak growled, "always meddling in royal business." "And you aliens," Jake replied, always messing with our bathrooms. I will enjoy crushing your bones." Drogak charged. He moved fast for something that big. Jake blocked the first punch, but it threw him across the room. He hit the wall hard, groaning. "You okay?" Zerelax shouted. Jake stood slowly. His body hurt, but his heart was steady. "Yeah," he said. Round 2. He ran forward, dodged a swing, and kicked Drogek in the side. Drogek stumbled, but only slightly. Zerelax joined in, firing bursts of purple energy. Together, they fought. Blades, fists, blasts. But Drogak was strong. Too strong. He grabbed Jake by the neck and lifted him into the air. "You are no guardian," he said. "You are a joke." Jake gasped, eyes fading. But then, his mark flashed blinding blue. A voice filled his head. Guardian level reached. Throne bond complete. Releasing primary core. A wave of power burst from Jake's chest. Drogek screamed and flew backward, crashing into the crystal. Jake landed on his feet. His body glowed with light. His eyes turned bright white. And the air around him shifted. He had become something new. Not just human. Not just chosen. But a symbol. Zerelax stepped beside him, stunned. "You are now a true guardian." Jake looked at his glowing hands. "Let's end this." He jumped into the air. Energy blasted from his body as he flew straight at the crystal. With one final punch, he struck the core. Boom! A massive shockwave spread across the ship. Lights died. Engines failed. And far above them, the entire Throne Hunter fleet went dark. They escaped through a throne portal seconds before the ship exploded behind them. Back on their throne vessel, floating safely in space, Zerelax turned to Jake. "You saved Earth," she said. "You saved me." Jake smiled, tired but proud. "I just wanted a normal night. Maybe some cereal. Now I'm glowing." "You're not just glowing," she said softly. "You're changing the galaxy." Toilet of Destiny. The stars outside were quiet. Jake stood near the viewing window of the throne vessel, staring out into space. Below them, the Earth turned slowly, blue, green, and peaceful. He should have felt proud. He had just destroyed the signal ship, shut down the Throne Hunter fleet, and unlocked a mysterious power inside himself. But something didn't feel right. Zerelax walked in, carrying a small glowing orb. "You should be resting." "Can't sleep," Jake said. "I keep thinking about everything." She joined him. "It's a lot. 1 minute, you're brushing your teeth. The next, you're dodging plasma blades." Jake gave a small smile. "I still don't understand how this all started. Why my bathroom?" Zerelax looked down at the orb in her hands. "Because the throne chose your home. And we didn't know why. Until now." She placed the orb on a small platform. It glowed brighter, and a hologram appeared above it. A toilet. His toilet. "Great," Jake muttered. "We're watching bathroom security footage now." "This isn't just any toilet," Zerelax said. "It's the final key." The hologram zoomed in. The toilet in his apartment shimmered and shifted. Layers of technology appeared under its surface. Circuits, crystals, ancient codes. It wasn't just a toilet. It was a containment unit. "This," she said, "is the last throne core. It holds the original royal command code. The power to rewrite throne control across the galaxy." Jake stared. "And I've been sitting on that." "Yes," she said. "You've been sitting on galactic destiny for months." He sat down slowly, stunned. "So if the Hunters get it, they'll rewrite the throne's rules. They could erase planets, enslave species, end free will in dozens of systems." Jake leaned forward. "Then we can't let that happen." Zerelax nodded. "We need to retrieve the throne. Now. Before anyone else finds it." Suddenly, the alarm blared. Red lights flashed. "Intrusion detected. Location: Earth. Apartment 47B. Jake froze. That's my place. Zeralax's eyes went wide. They're already there. Within seconds, the throne ship opened a new portal. Jake and Zeralax stepped through it and landed back in his tiny apartment, or what was left of it. His living room was destroyed. The windows were shattered, furniture thrown across the room, walls cracked. The bathroom door hung open. Inside, 3 throne hunters stood around the toilet, using strange scanning devices. One of them reached toward it with a glowing blade. "Step away from the bowl," Jake yelled. The hunters turned. "The Guardian," one hissed. "And the Princess," another growled. "We end this now." They charged. Jake didn't wait. He raised his hand, and a wall of blue energy burst forward, slamming into the hunters and knocking them into the bathtub. "Not so tough without your fleet, huh?" he said. But then the toilet glowed. And the light was wrong. Black smoke curled around it. The seat lifted on its own. The ground began to shake. Zeralax looked horrified. They activated the lockdown code. The what now? "It's turning into a bomb. They're trying to destroy the core. My toilet is a bomb." The light grew stronger, burning white and black together. Jake stepped forward. "What are you doing?" Zeralax shouted. "I started this," he said. "I end it." He placed his hand on the toilet lid. The mark on his palm burned. The throne responded. The apartment vanished. Jake opened his eyes. He was standing in a different place, an endless white room. Silent, empty, calm. In the middle stood the toilet. But now it looked ancient, royal, glowing gold and silver with alien carvings. A voice spoke behind him. "Welcome, Guardian." Jake turned. An old man stood there, glowing softly. His robe shimmered like stardust. "Who are you?" Jake asked. "I am the first Guardian. I protected the throne long before your planet was born." "Then why am I here?" "Because the toilet of destiny must choose," the man said. "It must bond with one final Guardian. Someone who can lead with heart, not power." "Me?" Jake asked. "I'm just some guy." The old man smiled. "You are everyman. You are what the galaxy forgot. Humility, humor, kindness." The toilet glowed brighter. "Step forward," the man said. Jake did. The toilet's light wrapped around him. His mind filled with memories. Wars, kings, peace, betrayal, rebellion, the history of the throne, the lives it touched. Then it stopped. The toilet flushed gently. And the voice spoke again. "Bond complete. Human guardian accepted. Throne of destiny restored." Jake woke up in his bathroom. Everything was quiet. The hunters were gone, turned to ash by the throne's energy. Zeralax knelt beside him. You did it." He sat up slowly. "I flushed myself into history." She smiled through tears. "You are the throne now." "So what now?" She looked at the toilet. It was still there, but no longer glowing. Calm, silent. "Now," she said, "you decide what to do with it." Jake nodded and flushed one last time. The final flush. The sun was rising over the city. Orange light spilled into Jake's broken apartment. Dust floated in the air. Sirens could be heard in the distance, but inside, everything was still. Jake stood in front of his toilet. It looked normal again. Just porcelain and water. But he knew better. This wasn't just a bathroom anymore. It was a throne that had changed the galaxy. Zeralax stood beside him. She was quiet, her silver skin soft in the sunlight. She looked tired, but calm. "It's done," Jake said. "Almost," she replied. He turned to her. "What do you mean?" Zeralax touched the side of the toilet gently. "The throne returned home, but the galaxy is watching, and it won't stay peaceful forever. The hunters may return, others may rise, and someone must guard it." Jake looked at her, then at the glowing mark on his palm. "You want me to keep it." "I don't want you to," Zaralax said softly. "But the throne chose you, and it never chooses wrong." Jake stared down at the toilet, the source of everything. He had flushed himself across galaxies. He had fought with frying pans, kicked alien warlords, dodged energy blasts, and stopped an interstellar fleet. But deep down, he was still just a regular guy. A human. A guy who never expected to be chosen. He sat down on the edge of the bathtub and looked around his bathroom. "My mirror's cracked," he said. "My sink still leaks. And my royal toilet can destroy planets." Zaralax smiled. "You're handling it well." He stood up again. "So what happens if someone else finds out? If they try to steal it again?" "They won't get far," she said, "because now the throne is bonded to you. You're its key and its shield." Suddenly, the air shimmered. A portal opened in the bathroom wall. Behind it, the full Royal Galactic Council stood, tall, glowing beings from across different worlds. They watched in silence, their eyes shining with respect. "They came to witness your choice," Zaralax whispered. Jake stepped forward, facing the leaders of the galaxy. They waited for his answer. He took a deep breath. "I didn't ask for this," Jake said. "I didn't train for it. I'm not some perfect warrior. I'm not noble blood. I'm not wise." The council didn't speak. "But maybe that's the point," Jake continued. "The galaxy doesn't need more kings. It needs guardians. Protectors who remember where they came from." He looked back at the toilet. "I'm not giving it up. Not yet." The throne glowed softly. The council bowed. Zaralax stepped beside him. "They accept." Suddenly, the toilet shimmered again. And this time, it transformed. It shifted upward, rising from the ground. It extended into a tall, silver chair with armrests, ancient symbols, and floating panels. It looked like a throne of light and stars. But in the center was still a flush handle. Jake blinked. "It's still a toilet." "Even destiny has a sense of humor," Zaralax said. A final message appeared in the air, glowing bright blue. "Throne secured. Guardian appointed. Long may he flush." Jake couldn't help but laugh. "You've got to be kidding me." That night, Jake sat on his roof with Zaralax, looking up at the stars. "You know," he said, "it's weird. This all started because I heard a scream from the bathroom." "I screamed very well," Zaralax said proudly. "You did," he agreed. They sat in silence for a while. "What now?" she asked. "We wait," Jake said. "We watch. We protect. And maybe fix the sink." She leaned against his shoulder. "Sounds like a plan, Guardian." Far above, the stars twinkled. But somewhere in deep space, a shadow moved. Eyes glowing. A shape unseen. Watching. Waiting. For the next chance to steal the throne. But this time, the galaxy had a protector. A human. A nobody with a glowing hand. A big heart. And the most powerful toilet in the universe.